Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
All right, welcome back everyone to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. We got TJ in the house. What's happening, TJ? How we doing, bro?
Enjoying life, man. Life is good, working towards just continuing to build that family legacy, enjoying family first, sports, coaching, life, health, mind, body, soul.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. So you're in the Pittsburgh market. You got in real estate back in 2004. But let's not kid ourselves here. It's kind of in your blood, right? You guys have been doing this generations after generations after generations since 1925, if I read that correctly. Yeah. That's some powerful stuff, man. You got the boys doing it now at age 9, 13, and 15. But let's talk about you for a second, and then I want to get that 30,000-foot view for the listeners. You went to school, you got that financial kind of major and background, right? You've done some mortgage lending in the past. You had your own mortgage brokerage, right? Yep. And then you've also had construction going on, wholesaling, property management, sales team. Now you're doing more lending as well in the local area of Pittsburgh. You got a lot of things going on, all real estate related. Talk to me, give us that 30,000-foot view of how this all started for you, because you got started at what, 20 years old?
20 years old. So my family's been in real estate my whole life. Like you said, my great-great-grandmother came over from Croatia back in 1895, rented a 2-bedroom apartment in McKees Rocks, little town outside of Pittsburgh, lived in 1 bedroom and rented out the other bedroom to 5 Croatian immigrants. She did everything they needed to live. She cooked for them, cleaned for them, did their laundry, saved up all that money. That by the way, that was called subleasing. We might evict her today, but back then, 1895, they didn't care.
Yeah.
She saved up all that money, and in 1925, she bought our family's first investment property. It was a nice little building in McKees Rocks, which is where I'm born and raised from. And over the generations, grew that portfolio, and it just became a part of who my family was and what we did. When I was 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, I was my dad's laborer on his investment properties. I would do all the demo work. I think he paid me like $8 an hour or something. And he fed me and gave me a place to sleep. Yeah. And so that's how I kind of learned the real estate game, right? Being the laborer, doing the grunt work, carrying buckets of concrete, all that fun stuff. And then I went to Florida State for a couple years, came back, double majored at Duquesne University, finance, investment management, dual major. But the cool thing is when I came back from Florida State my junior year, I took over my dad's mortgage company. So I was running a mortgage company full-time and going to Duquesne full-time. And what better way to learn? I was a finance investment management major running a mortgage company. And that was like between like 04, 05 when the mortgage industry was booming. And
what inspired the takeover? Was your dad trying to retire, or what did that look like?
My dad really wanted to focus full throttle on the real estate investment side of it all.
Okay, cool.
Finding the deals, renovating the deals. We operated back then. We were really operating under the Burr model before there was no bigger pockets. There was no
before the Burr. Yeah.
But because we had a mortgage company, we understood that idea.
Yep. Yeah.
And so what we would do is we would travel because everybody and their mom was a mortgage broker at the time. So the way we made ourselves look different was we were mortgage brokers that focused on real estate investors. So instead of going after the homeowner and getting a big $200,000, $300,000, $600,000 mortgage, we would get a real estate investor who was doing an $80,000 to $100,000 mortgage, but they were doing 10 or 20 a year. And what we would do is we would travel to these real estate investment meetings throughout the country and get on stage and speak about being mortgage brokers focused on real estate investors and talk about the Burr model. And that's how we build our clientele. But what also happened was people would ask us what we were doing in Pittsburgh with our investments. Yeah. And at that time in Pittsburgh, you could buy a property that was in a decent neighborhood for $15,000 to $20,000. You could renovate it for another 15 to 20 and it would appraise at 60 or 70. Yep. So these people started to ask us if they could invest with us. And at the time, we didn't realize what we were doing, but we were basically raising capital. And so these people would come and invest with us. Someone would just give us capital, or someone would JV with us. And through that, unintentionally, we started to form this other business where we would bring people from all over the world to buy property in Pittsburgh. And then we would be their construction company and we would be their property manager. And so we grew this other business while we had our mortgage company. And then in '08, when the great financial crisis happened, we shut down the mortgage company and went full throttle and just focused on that business.
Was that more of like a turnkey model to a certain degree? Like they were getting higher payouts than actually just like a private money lender, correct?
That was a full turnkey model.
Yeah.
Except for the fact most full turnkey providers were actually buying the property and renovating and then selling it fully renovated.
Sure.
We were not doing that. You
showed them that whole process. You took them through that whole thing, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
So me and my dad did that. We did that for the next, we really hammered in on that for the next 12 years. We traveled around the world, speaking on stages, bringing people in. We would go to Australia, to California, to New York, all the markets where people couldn't really cash flow.
Yeah.
They were coming to Pittsburgh. And then back in like 2020 or a little before that, Casey and Brian kicked off City Life. And City Life was doing what we were doing for everybody else, but for themselves. And Casey's older brother, Sean, was my high school quarterback, and we're still good friends till this day. So when Casey and Brian kicked off City Life, Casey, Brian, and myself really started talking about the idea of us coming together, me joining City Life. I was self-employed my whole life. I never worked for anybody. When I was in high school, I worked for a pizza shop for a while. So besides that, I never worked for anybody a day in my life, but we knew it would be a good fit. So after 6 months of talking back and forth, like Casey and Brian I really believed in the vision that they sold. I mean, our mission at City Life is to build happiness, transform lives, and strengthen the community.
Come on.
And what better way to do that than collaboration over competition? So after 6 months of talking, we made the decision to go together. I came on as an entrepreneur at City Life, a W-2 employee at City Life.
Yeah.
And when I joined City Life, we were sitting at 50 units owned. We're now sitting at about 1,050 units owned. So it's been an amazing growth opportunity for me and my family. And it's been a great journey.
Talk to me, going back for a second, when it comes down to, going around to all these different states to speak on stage at REIA groups and kind of spread the word and get people interested. How lucrative was that for you? You're not doing that today anymore, correct? But is that still something that you recommend for certain people?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, there's no better way. There's no better way to get in front of people. If you believe in what you're talking about and you're passionate about it. And I was talking about changing your life through wealth, through real estate, allowing your money to work for you rather than you working for your money. When you believe in whatever your product may be or whatever it is that you're presenting, if you believe in it, going and being consistent at these REIA groups, showing up month after month, builds that relationship, builds that trust. And it turned out to be very profitable for us.
I love it. So today, do you still have the family business going and everything on that side?
Yeah, well, each of our family members, like we don't have a family real estate portfolio, like we all invest individually. So I'm personally sitting at 20 single families.
Okay.
I've been involved in many more transactions. During COVID, I sold off all my multis. I really like the single family model because I like passivity in my investments. Most of my residents stay a really long time, 3, 5, 10 years.
Yeah,
that's what I really like personally. I do understand. And some people really like the multifamily model. That's fine. But our family, we own 20 units. My wife and I own 18, and our 3 boys who are 15, 13, and 9, like you said earlier, they own 2 single families themselves.
Talk to me about that for a second, because obviously it's already in your blood. It's, generations within the family have been doing it. Obviously it's something you believe in. It's something, passionate that you have within you, but you're teaching the kids how to do this. How was that like? This is their second deal they just bird. How was it on the first one? And how old were the kids at that time? And was it something that like you kind of just planned like, hey, boys, you're doing this all together and you guys are going to help each other out? Or was there, one of the boys really wanted this versus the others?
Those are great questions. Most people don't ask that when I talk about
Yeah.
it. I could tell you've been doing this a while. The first one, they were too young to make their own decision, to be honest.
Sure.
They didn't have any involvement. The first one was all cash, and they still own it all cash. So what we do is with all their birthday money, all their Christmas money, their Easter money, their tour money, it all goes into each of their own bank accounts.
Cool.
And then when they have enough to go three-way in on a deal, they go three-way in on a deal. The first one, it was one of my old clients from like 18 years ago. It was so cheap. They had enough money. I think they bought it for like 17. At the time, it had the same tenant that I put in there years ago in there, and they instant cash flow. When she moved out, the turnover was probably like another 15. So they're all in at like 35, 40 between the three of them.
Yeah.
And they just get that cash flow every month. City Life manages it. City Life manages all of our properties. So we didn't have to do any of that work. And it was just handling all that. Now, as they got older, my oldest son last summer came out to Seattle with me for the Boardroom Mastermind Apprentice Group.
Yeah.
He was 14 at the time. I've always taught them about the numbers and whatnot, but him coming down and sitting in Seattle, sitting in a room for 2 full days and being around a bunch of other kids and then coming in the big room with us and seeing what we were doing, he was like, holy cow. But believe it or not, it's not him that drives it as much as my 13-year-old who really started driving it when he was 12. He has that real entrepreneurial spirit. He's a chef by nature. Like he's been cooking since he's been 8 years old. When my wife and I went to Croatia 2 summers ago, we brought him back black truffle and he made beef Wellington from scratch. It's unbelievable. So
Let's go.
I taught him how I run the numbers. We have an email that's between him and I that all the wholesale deals go to, and he runs numbers and sends them to me. And he said, "Dad, what do you think about my numbers?" And then we tweak it a little bit and stuff like that. So this
That's
deal,
so cool.
This second deal we most recently found came to the email address. I told him to check it out. He ran the numbers. The numbers look good. We had to negotiate a little bit. We got it for the right price. I think it was around 40, 45, 50. This one, they split 3 ways with their own cash, bought with their own cash.
How much was that for the down payment or to purchase?
It was a total like $15,000 to $17,000 each.
Man, the Easter Bunny's been good to these boys. They take care of these boys. I'm telling you, I like it.
They work hard too, though. They get chore money every week. They take out every day. Garbage is out, dogs fed, dog poop cleaned up, garbage disposal, dishwasher. Like what I get for $30 a week is unbelievable.
Yeah. Let's go.
So they bought it cash. They borrowed the money from Steel Point Capital for the renovation. Their grandfather, my father, GC'd the renovation. So we have a group text with me, my 3 boys, and my father, all about the renovation, all the checks cut, all the work done, all the contractors. Like this was an active project the entire
Hell yeah.
So renovation took about, I think, 5 weeks, and then it hit the market on a Monday.
How much was that for the renovation roughly?
Renovation was $26,000.
Cool. Love it.
So with other costs and whatnot, they're all in at about 85, let's say.
Okay, cool.
So it hit the rental market for $1,400 a month. This is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in that same town. Actually, I didn't even think about this. In the same town my great-great-grandmother came to back in 1895 in McKees Rocks.
Let's go.
The same street that my mom and my other grandma live up at the top of the street in one of the properties that I own. So hit the market on Monday, the rental market at $1,400 a month. We had a couple applications come in, was approved application that Wednesday. Tenant moved in that Friday. Last Thursday, I met the appraiser there. It appraised at $145. We're going to get a $110,000 loan, and the boys are getting all their money back. We're going to pay Steel Point Capital back, and they're going to walk away with about $25,000.
Come on. Have they realized this yet and be like, wow, this is like power,
100%.
What's the cash flow on that roughly? Couple $100?
I mean, they're going to have $300-$400 a month cash flow.
Come on. Let's go.
They were a part of approving the rental application.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I personally, even though City Life manages all of our properties, I personally still have a phone call with every person that we're considering on approving. So I did a call with that potential resident on speakerphone, and the boys heard that whole conversation. In that conversation, I talk about our mission, Our mission is aligned with City Life and Still Point's mission to build happiness, transform lives, and strengthen the community. And our core values. This is what's really important when I have these calls, because people understand that they're not just a number to us. We really care about good homes for good people. Our core values are let's go, which means action, 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 progress over perfection. Number 2, we got your back, which means 1 + 1 is greater than 2, serve rather than be served. Number 3, extreme ownership, which means own it when you crush it and own it when you don't. It also means no task too big or no task too small. And number 4, which is my favorite, it's called the red sweater, based off of Mr. Rogers. Some of you probably know Mr. Rogers, some of you don't. But he was from Pittsburgh and filmed in Pittsburgh. And that's all about happiness. We believe everybody functions best when they're truly happy. That starts with City Life and Still Point. That starts with our employees. That includes our residents, of course. That includes the owners, the people who invest with us, people in the neighborhood. So when I have that phone call with a potential resident before we approve them and really explain to them what we're all about, what as a family and as a company, we get to know if we're aligned on our mission and core values. And if we are, and everything else works out, they become an approved tenant. So my boys hearing that conversation, and now seeing the refinance, and they're going to see all that through. Basically, let me tell you this. My 13-year-old said, Dad, the next one, I'm not partnering with my brothers. I want to own on my own.
Wow.
So he actually wanted to do that one on his own, but I found the deal. So I said, I can't find a deal and then give it to one of you 3. So I said, if you want to do it on your own, you have to find your own deal.
Or you got to pay a hefty wholesale cost, buddy.
That's right. That's right.
Business is business. No, that's good. I love that. Have you ever, like, explaining the core values to a potential lead or a customer coming in, have you ever seen any kind of, like, if it's not a good fit, them kind of push away and push back on those circumstances?
Yep. I had that on one of my other rental properties. We were at the state tournament in Hershey for wrestling, because I'm a high school wrestling coach.
Yeah, come on.
And the leasing team called me, say, hey, I have a girl on the hook. I think she'd be good for your property on Bouquet Street. I said, okay, cool. Let's get on the phone with her. I got on the phone with her. I spent about 45 minutes explaining everything. And when I think she realized, like, how serious we take this, because I also explain to them when I'm talking to them, like, listen, I'm not this landlord that looks at you as a number. And this property is more to me than just a property. This property is building a family legacy that I want to pass down generationally. She went MIA after that conversation.
Yeah. That's so good. I love that.
Which is fine. I would rather wait. I'm big on spending more time, more money, more energy up front and letting property sit vacant for the right person.
Yeah, I'm very notorious like that as well. I love that. Obviously, in the right markets, you can do that. In certain ones, you got to move quick. But I do love this. Talk to me. I don't want to geek out too hard on this, but I'm curious about the structure for the kids and, like, taxes. You know, like, how do you actually have it structured? Do the kids have to pay taxes or file anything?
That's a good question. I don't have, it's all in my name.
Okay.
My entity. So when it comes to their properties right now, until they're over 18, till all 3 of them are over 18, then we'll transfer things and handle it that way. But as of right now, it's all in my name.
I'm just curious because I've heard of other kids, like younger kids or like 16, 15 getting some deals. And I was always just curious, can they actually do it in their own name by any chance? Or do they have to be 18?
I don't research that. I haven't even looked into that at all.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Talk to me, man. So what do you guys have going on now? And like, especially for the boys, like, I'm just curious, your 13-year-old, he wants to start taking down his own deals. What do you see for some of their goals? Like, what are they trying to accomplish in the next few years? Are they just going to take it slow and steady, one deal like per year type of thing, or what do you think?
No, we'll do as many. Like, I'm going to leave that up to them. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm building a portfolio also that'll eventually be passed down to them. Right.
Sure.
Dad has his own portfolio, which hopefully that all gets passed down to me. But like, I'm gonna explain. I continue to explain to them, I should say, that, like, hey, the ball's in your court. You have to drive this, because finding deals is not easy. I just bought 3 in the past 9 weeks. That one for them, and then 2 more for myself. It took me 7 months to find those 3 deals.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm running right now full time. I'm a part of our company, Still Point Capital. That's a full-time thing. We're raising capital, we're lending capital. That's how many ever, that's a full plate each week alone. And then you add on finding the deals and then overseeing the renovations and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I tell my boys, like, look, I've now led you to the water.
Yeah.
Now it's time for you to go full throttle and drink.
Yep. That's so good.
As far as like goals, my oldest is 15. He's not really that focused on that side of it. His goal is to be he was a freshman this year. His goal is to be a 3-time state champ in wrestling for the next 3 years. He had a really, really good season. He's been wrestling for about 10 years. We're in the off season. He still practices 5 days a week, lifts 4 days a week, runs 4 days a week. He's putting in the work for that. He's really locked in and focused on that. My 13-year-old, he's really searching for properties, but at the same time, he loves football. So he's lifting about 7 times a week and really focused on growth there. And to my 9-year-old, he's just interested in snuggling with mommy and daddy and having a good time and playing some basketball and football here and there.
Yeah, give him a couple more years. Let him enjoy it.
Let him enjoy being a kid.
Yeah, that's so good, man. I love that. And then how many properties is your dad sitting on?
My dad, I don't know that answer because he sold some of his. He's more in the retirement phase. He also works with City Life right now too, but
Does he?
I think he's after he sold off everything, I think he probably still has 4 units left, like 4 higher end units, some like historic home. He has a historic home that I think he's keeping and some different stuff like that. But he's at a different phase of life. He's building a house in South Carolina. He's ready to retire, build a house in South Carolina, snowbird and all that kind of stuff.
That's cool, man. I love that. So talk to me about Steel Point Capital. You guys are lending out money at this point?
Yeah, we do 2 things. We raise capital. We give a 10% annual return for a 2-year commitment on your money with the interest paid monthly. So like my wife and I, we have 2 investments. We have investments. Well, we have a couple investments. We have our investments in our properties.
Yep.
We have investments in business. We own part of Steel Point Capital and we're partners in that. And we also invest with Steel Point Capital for over 4 years now and get our nice, we do it. We give 10% for a 2-year commitment or we give 12% for a 3.5-year commitment. So we get 12%. So, on $50,000, you take $50,000 times 0.12 divided by 12. That's $500 a month. We get ACH right into our account.
Heck yeah.
We do that capital raising end of it. If anybody's interested in making a 10% or a 12% return on your money, interest paid monthly right into your account. It's a nice mailbox money.
Well, that's the cool part. It's like the paid out monthly, because you get to start seeing that. And I mean, it's basically like buying real estate, except you don't need to do any of the legwork and you get those returns real nice and easy on a monthly basis. It's like, wow, that's the best part to be in. Being the bank is the end goal for so many investors. You may not realize it now, but the end goal, like eventually you'll start seeing, hey, I just rather put this money to work and hold on to paper,
Exactly. Yep. And then also with that same idea is a lot of people have their retirement funds, their 401k. People don't know, or some people do know, that you can do a self-directed IRA.
Yep.
Where you take your funds, your 401k from your old job, whatever that may be, you put it in as a self-directed IRA and you get to direct how that's being had. We have a guy that works for us that I was talking to on Monday, and I said, hey, you left your job 9 months ago. What's your 401k doing? He has 50K in his 401k. He looked up the year to date and he's negative. And I said, you still got me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. I said, yeah, you take that money. Let's get into the self-directed and get you making a guaranteed 10% a month. And he did that. He's signing all the paperwork. He's finalizing today. So that's going to be huge for him over the years.
Oh yeah, for sure. And many people just don't know. And that's why you got to get your message out there and tell more people that these possibilities are out there. You don't need to be a slave to the market or somebody else trading your money or whatever else it is, like you can actually take this into your own hands, do your own due diligence and have your money working hard for you in something that you're passionate about, like real estate, right? And just be the bank, hands off, get mailbox money from TJ. It's not a bad day at all. I love that.
No, it's not. And it's cool because like what you said, the one part what you said was really key is that money that that money that people are investing with us, we are then taking and we're lending out.
Yeah.
And we're lending out to local people building their portfolio here in Pittsburgh, growing their wealth, maybe generational wealth, whatever they want it to be. They're either, buying a property, fixing it up and flipping it, or buying a property, fixing it up and burring out, refinancing out. So that whole idea, that whole reality, that whole mission of build happiness, transform lives, and strengthen the community, people get to be a part of that by helping other people do that. And they don't have to go through all that work. Because as you know, right, real estate investing it's not HGTV. You don't go look at a house and then fix it up and have this big house all renovated within an hour.
Yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it can be a blessing, but yeah, it's not going to be overnight success type of thing. Yeah, that's good. You know what's cool? So right now you guys are only doing Pittsburgh market though, right? You're not doing any others. Like the boys have utilized that capital as well, correct?
Yes, and I do also. Even though I have money invested in the company, even though I'm a partner in the company, I still utilize that because as a real estate investor, I'm not sitting liquid. Yeah. Right. I'm not just sitting with money in the bank, just waiting. Like my money's in my properties. My money's being utilized. So when I find a deal, and the cool thing is on our lending side, depending on the investor, we're all relationship based and asset based lending. So with the right relationship and the right asset, we even lend 100% of purchase and 100% of renovation, which is not easy to find. No. If it's a relationship, we'll do either 80 or 90% of purchase and 100% of renovation. And we make it so easy on the investor because of our experience, right? So our goal is we're not the cheapest in the game, but we are one of the easiest as far as you send us the intake form, we review it. If we need to, we get out to the property. We have the right relationship with you. If it's a good deal, we make things happen fast. We can get an approval to you within 24 to 48 hours. You could have unlimited draws. It does cost per draw, but unlimited draws. And we keep that money moving quickly to help you get to the completion of the project. Our goal is not, to be honest, on the lending side, our goal is not 200, 300, 400 borrowers. Our goal is 30 high quality borrowers that are the right people who fit our mission, fit our core values, and we can do, 5, 10, 15, 20 a year with you.
Heck yeah. I love that. I love that because you struck something for me as I was realizing like, man, I've gone cheap with certain lenders that I've used certain lenders in the past consistently, and it's always just like you get spoiled because it's so easy, the process. Yeah. And then like recently there was one deal that the interest rate was just higher, and I was like, I could go to this new guy that it seems it could be save me a bunch of money. So I go that route, and I realize price is what you pay, value is what you get. And the headaches and the time that it started sucking from me to trying to get draws and so forth, even if it was just one draw, like I fronted it all on because I know how to utilize credit cards and 0%. So I'm fronting the whole renovation, even though I have the payout from it instead of doing draws, because there's all these little fees that I was like, I'll just do it once at the end. It ended up being a nightmare, taking like 2.5 weeks and multiple people like coming out. I'm like, dude, it's already listed. Like, check out the pictures online. It's beautiful. It's kind of crazy what the inconvenience of some companies out there versus others that know how to serve you. And so understand that and build upon these relationships. And I love how you guys really deep dive into the core values. I think it's imperative to really succeed and not just treat it as a number, right? Like a lot of people out there, you start feeling like you're just like some cookie cutter number, and that doesn't feel good at all. So I love that.
I think life's all about relationships.
Heck yeah.
In my opinion, you build the right relationships. Like I think I'm speaking, as throughout raising capital in general, like I'm calling on clients that I was working with back in 2005, 2006. And when you get a client that says, T, you've always like, we haven't done business since they bought a couple properties utilizing my services back in 2007, 2008, but they've called me and reached out to me over the years for advice on on a toilet or on a hot water tank or on a furnace. And I always pick up, always call, keep that relationship focused first, not what can I get from you, but how can I serve you, which is what you said. And I love that. And now when I'm calling them to talk to them about raising capital, they're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, dude, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, you've always been there for me. How could I not be there for you? And
exactly.
And what's in it for me? Like all these benefits, monthly payout? Come on, sign me up. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Yeah. That's the type of relationship that you want when you're building upon it. It's like we're doing life together. Yeah. This isn't a transactional thing. This is life together and how it could reward you and reward our mission and keep, moving the boat forward, which I love. I absolutely love that.
So I got to ask, with that being said, how can I serve you, man?
Oh man, I was about to, you beat me to it. That's good, dude. That's good. That's good, man. I love it. We're good, dude. I appreciate you jumping on here first off and serving with your time, dude. You're giving us almost an hour of your time. I know you're a busy man. You got kids, you got the real estate you're doing and the impact. So I appreciate you jumping on. Anything that we could do to either myself or the listeners could do to give back to you?
Keep being good people, in this real estate world or whatever world, business, life, there's a lot of people who don't really, their word doesn't stand, they don't stand behind their word, right? So do what you say you're going to do. Make the world around you better. If your money's sitting somewhere right now, whether it's in your bank account, anywhere making less than 10% return, let's talk.
An IRA account, like, come on, do
if you're
yourself a
retirement,
favor.
We can get your money working for you. Yeah. If you happen to be in the Pittsburgh market and you're looking to grow your portfolio, reach out to us for short-term lending. We can definitely help you there. And we do have some connections on the refinance out if you're going to burr that out. And we have, once every 45 to 60 days, we have the Real Estate Power Hour, one of the best networking events in Pittsburgh. It's from usually on a Thursday or Wednesday, Tuesday from 4:30 till 7. We get together, we network. Sometimes we have a speaker, sometimes we don't, but it's just about bringing like-minded people together.
I love that. TJ, I don't even know if you know this or not, but when I first got started in real estate, it was about 30 minutes from Pittsburgh, over in Steubenville, Ohio.
No way.
Yeah. And so I used to fly in frequently to Pittsburgh and then drive over the river and everything. And it was like a limited belief around finances at the time because it was more affordable. There's a famous Catholic university there. So job growth, population growth, something unique. All those things kind of popped out to me, even though it's a little small town, right? Yeah. But it would. Yeah, it was perfect for me to actually be able to do the burst strategy, have no money into my deals, get great cash flow, and to be able to leave my day job. Like it wasn't a sexy day job. It was just restaurants, right, that I was working in. This was back in 2015. And so I think like markets like this can be imperative to your success if you're looking for ways to burr, to be able to get into the market. We burr today as well here in San Diego. It's much more difficult and we have to be very selective. We also it forces us to do Airbnb, which is okay because it works out, we get paid more, but there's systems and processes in place with this. With Ohio and other areas where you can, some of my properties, I got a triplex at like 20 grand, put 60 grand into it and appraised for 140, like some wild stuff, but there's power behind that. So I encourage anybody
Do you still own those?
I'm actually selling off a majority of them right now because it was great for me in that season 10 years ago when I needed $10,000 a month. Now it's not, it only takes about 3-4 hours of my time per month now, but it's still too much in my opinion. And so I read the book 10X is easier than 2X last year. And which anybody who hasn't read that, it's basically just the 80-20 rule. And for me, it just really highlighted like we need to outsource the Airbnb, which we did to Fawad. So Jen isn't handling that. And then we also need to get rid of these long-term that are over in Ohio that it's kind of just pulling me in different ways,
Yep.
And so cashing out on that, we're closing on our last triplex this Monday. And then we have one other property over there that...
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. It was great first season. It's going to be great for somebody that's buying these now because they're still affordable. The appreciation doesn't go up crazy, but great cash flow. So,
yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh has recently been ranked the #1 most affordable housing market in the whole nation.
Come on.
Like 100%. You know, median home price here, I think is like 220,000.
Yeah.
Median home price nationwide is like 350,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And now out here in San Diego, it's all $1 million plus. You know, it's wild.
But it's beautiful out there.
It's beautiful, but it's like
we've been cold for a couple months. I'll tell you that.
I hear you.
To get ready for the podcast, I just jumped in the cold plunge at 40 degrees. So
let's go, baby.
I got all amped up.
Let's go. Well, bro, I appreciate you jumping on today. You're amazing, dude. Any way that you could plug in ways that the listeners can reach out to you?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just tell you right now, give me a call, 412-498-5973.
Let's go.
You know, text me. If I don't answer, shoot me a text, give me a call. And my email address is tj@stillpointcapital.net.
Sick. Love that. Well, I appreciate you jumping on, man. Guys, reach out to TJ. He's a wealth of knowledge, been in the game for a long time. It's in his blood. It's in his DNA. So, you know, he's just got a heart to be able to serve. And so if you have any questions, if you have more capital sitting on the sidelines, this is a no-brainer. You can park your money in there, get a strong return, and get it monthly, you know, and learn the tips and tricks of the trade. So with that being said, if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can always do so on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, our business page, Credit Counsel Elite on IG. If you're looking to get funding, I'm talking up to $500,000 with interest rates as low as 0%, so that you can actually take down more territory, buy real estate, or fund your business and so forth, then we're showing you how to get it. We got a little bit of it here. So if you want to get more of it, then we can show you how to get up to 90% approval odds, up to 500K, repeat this every 6 months. So there's power in learning how to talk to these banks, and with our bank relationships, we're confident that we can set you up for success. Check out creditcounselelite.com. That's creditcounselelite.com. There's about a quick 10-minute video on there that explains more about what the heck we do here. Make sure it's a good fit for you. And then afterwards, it's going to answer some of your questions, but it's going to prepare you to ask better questions on a one-on-one call with either myself or somebody on our team. So with that being said, check out creditcounselelite.com. If you have not already subscribed to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, what are you waiting for? Like, do that right now. Just do that right now.
Time is now.
Time is now, baby. Time is now. We're not promised tomorrow. We're promised right now. So take action on that right now. You're not going to want to miss that. Hit subscribe. You'll get the newest notification every single Monday. After listening to a few episodes, leave that 5-star review. You guys are amazing. Keep it up. We'll catch you on the next one. Till next time, guys. God bless. TJ, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.